Shout out to Adrian Thomas for sending me this story, and I hate that I even have to address this one again because if y'all remember on my original channel, I actually did a video about this chick, and she looks like a beached whale that just got done devouring another beached whale. This woman's name, if you want to call her that, name is Jemma Beale, and back in 2017 she was sentenced to 10 years in prison, which is way too low if you ask me for the crime she committed. um and it says that she's 27, but she looks like she ate 27 people. She falsely accused 15 men of raping her in sexual assault. Now, why did she go ahead and try to make up some claim like that? Like, what man would even want to touch that? I don't even know if there would be a dog that would even want to hump her leg if it can find her leg. But it says that she took her case back to court to try to overturn her conviction, and her lawyers are just as bad as she is. Listen to what her lawyers said. They said that they felt she was wrongly convicted for the crime that she committed, and they say that the judge failed to warn the jurors about the myth of making fake claims such as this. First off, if you need to be warned about these fake and false claims, then something is wrong with you. You should know right from wrong. Now, I will give them this. This did not happen in the States. You can tell by the fact that she got jail time. This happened across the pond. That's one thing that they need to do over here, because there's too many women out here falsely claiming that a man touched them in a sexual way or sexual harassment or they raped them, what have you. It's too many of that flying around here. And the fact that this woman even got jail time lets you know that this did not happen in the US. Let me go ahead and read this article. It says an appeal court has backed the 10-year jail term given to a fantasist. Notice fantasist. That means images and imagery this person made up in their head of stuff that was happening. That's why she claimed that 15 men tried to rape her or sexually harass her or assault her, because she made it all up in her head that that's what happened when that shit really didn't happen. It says she made false rape claims, allegations against a series of men, and thrown out her claims. She was wrongly convicted. Jemma Beale from Bedfont, West London, was handed the prison sentence for perverting the course of justice and perjury after she made fake sex attack claims against 15 men, one of whom was jailed for 2 years, and another fled the country. She caused a man to go to jail, and the other one had to leave their country altogether behind her claims. I'm mad they even believe that. Like, ew. This woman looks like a sack of potatoes. The alleged 27-year-old, however, continues to protest her innocence and today asks senior judges to overturn her conviction. Her lawyers told the Court of Appeal that the judge hadn't warned the jury about the myths and stereotypes which swirl around false rape claim cases. They going to come a little bit better than that. They also claim even if she was guilty, she should have been given a shorter sentence because she had been abused as a child. It's bad enough they only gave her 10 years when it should have been way more than that, but they're asking for less because she was allegedly abused as a child. Mind you, this woman is a so-called fantasist. She made up in her head that she got raped and not molested, but sexually assaulted by 15 men. One ended up in jail and another one fled the country, and y'all want us to believe her story about her being abused as a child. I don't believe it. Sorry about that. The article just kind of disappeared off my phone, but I got it back. It says, but Lady Justice Hallett, one of England's most senior female judges, was one of the 3 judges who dismissed both of the appeals and sent Beale back to prison. Well, shout out to her. Lady Justice Hallett said, this case went far further than myths and stereotypes about a complainant's behavior. The appellate was accused of being a serial liar who fabricated accounts mostly of sexual nature. In the light of the evidence called, even if guidance was given, it would have not assisted in the appellate. Basically saying, even if she didn't tell the jurors about the myths of false rape claims, it still would not have helped her case, which I completely agree with. Like that's why I said her lawyers should have came a little bit more harder than that. The system of justice has suffered considerable harm. Considerable resources have been spent investigating and prosecuting crimes which never happened. There has been no indication of remorse on the appellant's part. Earlier in the hearing, Beale's QC, Jillian Jones, had told the court the judge learned erred because he failed to give a direction about the dangers of myths and stereotypes. She was a subject of extensive media scrutiny in which she was vilified. And we're supposed to feel bad for her? Like, they literally are trying to paint this chick as a victim. Y'all are hearing this. They are saying because she suffered media scrutiny that we should feel bad for her. Nope. The effect of which might have been to further prejudice the jury in the absence of such a direction. This reporting compounded or could have compounded these myths and stereotypes, which were never corrected by way of a judicial guidance to the jury. Ms. Jones argued the jury should have been told at the outset of the trial to disregard preconceived ideas about rape. The lawyer referred to a social media post about the case which stated an attractive male does not need to have sex with a whale. And you want to know what's so funny about it? I compared her to a beach whale before I even got to this point. It's like we're sharing a brain. The judge appeared to accept some of the reporting around the case was sensationalist, but suggested did not vilify Beale. Beale's lawyers are also calling for her 10-year sentence to be cut, describing it as excessive. Like I said earlier, I don't think it's long enough. Ms. Jones said the judge did not take account of her past, including abuse she went through as a child. That clearly had a huge impact on this young woman's life and resulted in a rapid downward spiral. Now listen to that. They want to take into account about this chick being abused as a child. Now, had this been a man in that same situation, they would have completely disregarded that. A certain singer comes to mind when that happens. I don't even have to mention their name. Many of you already know who that is. This is a very damaged young lady, and it clearly had a large part to play in the way she acted. Ms. Jones added the nub of it is whether or not sufficient weight was given to what is clearly an extensive history of difficulty. The only thing I see difficult as far as weight goes is that damn gut that's on the screen, as well as everything else. He reminded the court that how Beale texted her then girlfriend saying she was glorying in his discomfort as she was due to give false evidence against a man in court. During a 5-week trial at Southwark Crown Court in 2017, Beale insisted that she had been raped or attacked, but a jury found her guilty of perjury and perverting the course of justice. She made her first complaint on the morning of November 26, 2010, when she told police she had been raped by Mahad Kasem the previous night. Mr. Kasem was tried for rape at Isleworth Crown Court in December 2011. A retrial then took place on January 2012 in front of a fresh jury, and he was jailed for 7 years. Mr. Kasem served 2 years because of the grave injustice before he was released. Beale then complained to police that she was a victim of 2 sexual assaults in July 2012 and fabricated similar allegations against 6 other men in 2013. Her trial heard. Her appeal before Lady Justice Hallett, Mr. Justice Warby, and Sir John Royce continues. So that last part I was talking about was the one who served 2 years in jail. He almost served 7 years behind her alive. The fact that they had to even have a retrial lets you know her lie got almost pretty far. But she needs to stay in jail. If they can't give her more than 10 years, she needs to serve out all 10 of those years. Hell, at least she got something. Because like I said, the women over here who lie about being sexually assaulted or raped and this Me Too thing, they constantly get away with practically, it's like getting away with murder. Now, had she pulled that over here, she probably would have had a better chance. That shows you right there, Me Too is probably not as global as they think. But y'all let me know what you think about this down in the comments, and I'll talk to you in the next one.